Jalen Hurts officially won the NFL MVP yesterday, according to my standards. Really good news on Blakenship's knee injury, and Deebo Samuel has a pretty significant high ankle sprain. How will that impact Philadelphia Eagles and, of course, the NFC East in general? I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on yet another Victory Monday, the 12th Victory Monday of the entire NFL season, which is pretty crazy if you actually think about the fact that 13 times we've woken up on a Monday following an Eagles game, and Philadelphia has won 12 of those. We broke it all down yesterday on the show. If you missed that, be sure to go ahead and check out my initial thoughts. Today, though, I want to jump into the MVP race because it's getting very interesting, and really the update on the Blakenship knee situation, which is better than we had hoped because I thought it was a torn ACL, but I'm not a doctor, so obviously I was wrong as usual. Let's start, though, with the MVP race. You saw in the opener, I talked about how Jalen Hurts officially locked up the NFL MVP yesterday, and while I think he did, and a lot of people would agree, even the betting people, as we'll see, yahoosports.com has an article, I think that even though there are 4 games left in the NFL season, Hurts has officially done it. I'll give you my take and my reasoning why. First, though, the NFL MVP odds have officially bumped Jalen Hurts to the top of the charts, to the Yahoo Sports article here, and you see the official rankings. Last week, he was plus 175. This week, he is plus 100, the best odds to win the NFL MVP. And they say this, quote, after the Eagles lost to Washington, Hurts sat at plus 500 to win MVP. 4 weeks later, he's number one with a bullet. Over his last 3 games, he's generated 996 yards of total offense, 9 total touchdowns, and led his team to 123 points and 3 wins over the Packers, Titans, and Giants. Breathe for a second. Think about those numbers. Seriously, if you're doubting me, think about what I just said there for 3 games. Let's keep going. That's the most the Eagles have had in a 3-game span in 72 years. Oh, and he sat out the last 9 minutes against the Giants and the last 11-plus minutes against the Titans. I can't even finish. This is ridiculous. He can beat you any way you want to get beaten. You pride yourself in stopping the run. He'll throw for 300 and more. He'll have to shut down the passing game. He can tuck the ball and run all over you. Between throwing and running, he has 30 total touchdowns and just 3 interceptions. Next week should be another show on the road against the Bears, end quote. So those stats are undeniable. They're absolutely fantastic. I mean, we can't really argue against the fact he's 30-3 in touchdown to interception ratio. But the real question is it good enough to beat out Patrick Mahomes? And you're probably saying, Thomas, I'm an Eagles fan. Obviously, he's better than Patrick Mahomes. Well, I would agree. I mean, look here. We like the Philadelphia Eagles here, although we talk about the NFL as a whole. But a lot of national media people have yet to jump off of the Patrick Mahomes hype train. I think this weekend might have proved them wrong and changed their minds just a little bit. Not to say Mahomes is playing badly, as we'll read here, but even the stats now, which is the one argument Mahomes had left, is virtually dead, and I'll explain why. First, though, he's plus 150 to win the NFL MVP race. That, of course, is 50 points, or, 100 versus 150 compared to Jalen Hurts. Quote, Mahomes' stronghold on the top spot, the MVP race, has been slipping over the last few weeks, and once again, he has a very middling effort against a Denver Broncos team that prides itself on its defense. Mahomes threw for 352 yards and 3 scores, but he also threw 3 interceptions, or as many picks as Hurts has the entire season. Mahomes lead the league in passing yards and touchdown passes, but he's also tied for 3rd in picks. That's 1 more interception than Hurts has in his last 24 games. Oh my goodness. Mahomes and the Chiefs should stay alert next week against the Texans to give the Cowboys all they could handle on Sunday, end quote. And then you see Burrow here, plus 1,000, virtually telling you it's impossible that Joe Burrow is going to win. You bet $100, you win 1,000 if Joe Burrow wins NFL MVP. He would have to put up probably 15 touchdowns the final 4 games to make that case. It's just not going to happen. There's a lot of stuff to break down here, but let's just get to the raw numbers. First off, this tweet from Brendan Deeg, I think that's how you say his last name. We just read it. It sums it all up. Patrick Mahomes has the same amount of interceptions today that Jalen Hurts has all season. Hurts is the MVP of the league so far, ladies and gentlemen. And it comes down to this. We can make the stats argument, as I'm about to do, but it's not most stats player of the year. It's most valuable player of the year. And Philadelphia's team is stacked, but you insert Gardner Minshew onto this football team, who's a very good backup quarterback, or half of the NFL quarterbacks in the league, maybe 3/4 of the NFL quarterbacks into the Eagles offense. Eagles are still really good. They're not 12-1. They're not blowing people out. They're not scoring 129 points against the Packers, Titans, and Giants over the past 3 weeks. And now Mahomes has good numbers. Make the case here, right? 33 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 10-3 quarterback record, 65% completion percentage. These are all solid numbers. 2 big knocks here. 1, 11 interceptions. You cannot sit back and go NFL MVP and you are top 5 in the league in interceptions. I'm sorry. That's not an argument that you can go ahead and actually live by if you want Mahomes to be the NFL MVP. The other one, Very simple. Right here, 3 losses. Right? 3 losses are significant, and they're 3 pretty not-so-great losses overall for Patrick Mahomes. The Indianapolis loss, he was 20 of 35, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a rating of 78.5. As we'll see, Hurts has no game even close to these bad of numbers. You go to the next loss, Buffalo. He still had a rating below 90, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, a completion percentage below 65. Then you go to the most recent loss against the Cincinnati Bengals, 16 of 27. A rating below 100, a 59% completion percentage, 1 touchdown and no picks. There are too many games here where Patrick Mahomes looked a little bit more human than he has the past couple of years to make even a semi-legit argument that he could be the NFL MVP over Jalen Hurts. I think it's done. Now, if Hurts stinks the rest of the way, and Patrick Mahomes, again, balls out, sure, there can be a change in the argument. But do you think Jalen Hurts is going to stink the final 4 games of the year? Now, you might not play the final 4 games of the year because if they win the next 2, they're locked into virtually the 1 seed and the NFC Championship, or the NFC East. And so the idea of playing him in the final game against the Giants seems less likely than not. However, let's just quickly look at the overall stats here from Jalen Hurts, because this is at least fun to look at. 22 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He has 10 rushing touchdowns, okay? 10 back-to-back seasons of 10 rushing touchdowns, plus only 3 picks. Are we going to sit back and say that there's any sort of comparison between Mahomes' 11 interceptions this year and Jalen Hurts' 3? That's a significant amount of interceptions over what Hurts has been able to do. Plus, the straight-up biggest number in all of sports. Are you winning or are you losing? Patrick Mahomes has 3 losses. Jalen Hurts has 1. And as you go through these rating numbers, you know what I mentioned that basically Patrick Mahomes had a couple of games where the rating came down, the interceptions came up. Look at this. I mean, there's what? Sure. The Jacksonville game, in the rain, a rating of 72, okay? And he had the 1 bad interception. Probably his worst game so far as an Eagle. The rest of the way, 104, 140, 128, 94, 107, 96, 130 against Tennessee, 109, and he's not even playing in the 4th quarter of these football games. Just stop. It's over. It is over. Jalen Hurts will be the NFL MVP. Now, let me finish by saying this, and then we'll move on to our NFL national story and, of course, the Reed Blakenship update. I've been ranting for way too long here. Let me just finish with this. Does the NFL MVP actually matter? No, it doesn't. You ask anyone in that locker room right now, they could care less about Pro Bowl, NFL MVP, rushing leader, 1,000-yard receptions, whatever. They want to win a Super Bowl. But let me just say this. Giving Jalen Hurts the NFL MVP after what the media has done to him throughout his entire career, dating back to Alabama, I think would be sweet vindication for a guy who, even though publicly he wouldn't say it's that big of a deal, internally, getting a little bit of a reward for all the hard work that he has undoubtedly put in over the past couple of years would be kind of icing on the cake in a potential Super Bowl run season and a number 1 seed for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Now, speaking of the betting numbers, we mentioned it earlier, plus 100 right now. If you guys want to bet on the NFL MVP, you do it with our friends at DraftKings, and you can use my link down below. And there's a way to kind of use this to where you can bet on not just the Eagles-Bears game, but also the NFL MVP. Let me explain. You have the TFN website here, bet $5, get $150 back if the Eagles win. Obviously, use the sign-up link by clicking right here. All you gotta do, place a $5 money line bet on the Eagles next game. You get $150 back if the Eagles win in free bets. Then you can use those free bets to bet on the NFL MVP award, and Jalen Hurts is gonna win it. I'm telling you. Now, I can't guarantee anything, but I feel pretty darn good they're going to beat the Bears, and he's going to win the NFL MVP. So jump in on the betting game with our friends at DraftKings right here. It's a absolutely great promo, and you should check it out at the link down below. Okay, I ranted for about 20 minutes there on Jalen Hurts, but come on, it's ridiculous how good he's been. Let's quickly update you via the Reuben Frank article here on NBCSports.com on Reed Blakenship's knee injury, which I mentioned could be pretty bad yesterday. It looked pretty bad, kind of a non-contact, that dumb turf at MetLife Stadium everyone hates. Yeah, I thought for sure we were getting an ACL update today. However, that is not the case. Quote, according to Mike Garofalo of NFL Network, or Garfolo, always mess up his name, sorry Mike, Blankenship was diagnosed with a low-grade sprain and will not need to go on injured reserve, which would sideline him for a minimum of 4 games. Garfolo said there is no timeline for Blankenship's return, but calls it a, quote, short-term injury, quoting an unnamed source. This is huge. Now, he's not going to play against the Bears. I'd be shocked if he does, but that Dallas game does loom large. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has been out the past couple of weeks, and he has a chance to come back for the Saints game, but on IR, minimum of 4 games, he can't play against the Dallas Cowboys. And so, while we all think Philadelphia's defense, especially what you saw the Texans do against Dak Prescott yesterday, don't even get me started on that one, we still worry about Kayvon Wallace. And I see the comments. I don't want to hate on Kayvon Wallace. I'm sure he's a nice guy. He's working hard, really good on special teams, but a starting safety, not quite there. You better hope Reed Blakenship is able to go. I think we'll get more info later on this week, so be sure to subscribe. But I think this is really good news for a guy who honestly was playing very well. As I said yesterday, if you could somehow insert Blakenship into the starting safety role alongside, maybe replace Epps next offseason, but alongside C.J. Gardner-Johnson on a new deal and not have to draft somebody, massive for Philadelphia. Undrafted free agents becoming starters is huge for any football team. Just ask the Eagles and TJ Edwards. All right, let's wrap up here this long, ranty show here on a Monday by updating you on the Deebo Samuel situation. I thought he broke something. I thought the ankle was done. I thought Deebo Samuel was the next on a long list of injured 49ers this year when he was running with the football, which is always kind of an iffy thing if you're a wide receiver, and exited the game against the Bucks yesterday. However, the update from ESPN.com is good news for the 49ers, who I think most of us agree is the biggest threat to Philadelphia in any sort of NFC championship game or potential NFC playoff run. Quote, Santa Clara, California, asked to assess the performance of rookie single caller Brock Purdy after he'd led the San Francisco 49ers to a win on Sunday. Defensive end Nick Bosa offered a typically succinct response, "We've got a quarterback." So they like what they see in Brock Purdy, but the real question comes, where's the Deebo Samuel injury? Quote, after the game, Niners coach Kyle Shanahan said the team does not know the extent of Samuel's injury, but it's most likely a high ankle sprain. Shanahan and the Niners were encouraged that Samuel did not have any breaks in his ankle. However, that's good news, but let me just emphasize that this is not something he's going to come back from next week or the week after. Quote, high ankle sprains generally take about a month to heal. And that's what Samuel has. He theoretically could return in time for the first week of the NFL playoffs. Wide receiver Brandon Ayuk said he saw Samuel at halftime and had a chance to offer words of encouragement, end quote. So, a couple of takeaways here. One, the Niners have been decimated with injuries. They might be the best team in the NFC had they not gotten all the injuries they've had this year, although I'd still argue Philadelphia in a neutral site could probably beat them, because obviously we like the Eagles on this show. But losing Deebo Samuel, even if it is for just the rest of the regular season, is a significant blow for a 49er team that on Thursday night has Seattle, and that is still very much a game for the NFC West. And if you are the San Francisco 49ers, you got to win this division, right? If you are a wildcard team, you're going on the road, you're playing first week in the NFC wild card. You'd be playing the Vikings in the first round. Like, it could get really ugly early. And just because Deebo Samuel can come back in 4 weeks doesn't mean he comes back in 4 weeks at 100% and normal Deebo Samuel cutting and jumping and moving and being the great multi-rolled running back wide receiver hybrid that he is. This is big for Philadelphia is the other key point here, because again, yes, we are still afraid of Dallas. And I don't care what you say about the Texan game yesterday. While embarrassing, it was probably more, Dallas overlooking the Texans. The Texans are an NFL team, and they were able to kind of almost pull a fast one on the Dallas Cowboys. They're still going to be good. Still a big matchup on December 24th. Still a big matchup potentially in a divisional round game, because that is probably going to be the team you play, because Dallas is going to be the 5 seed. The Bucks, maybe the Panthers will be the 4 seed. Dallas will go on the road in the wild card round. They will win. They'll go to Philadelphia. And then, of course, Philadelphia would have to win that game and then play the 49ers. So it is impactful for Philadelphia, because if the 49ers start to struggle without Deebo Samuel, or if the Cowboys continue to look rough in the NFC as they did yesterday, the path to the Super Bowl, guys, I know, still early, a lot can happen. You can lay an egg in the postseason. The path to the Super Bowl will go through Philadelphia, and they will be the heavy favorites once we get to the very first playoff game. So there's your update here on a Monday. I'm keeping an eye on a lot of other stuff that is going on. It could get crazy this week. You never know, especially with the safety situation. Could Philadelphia go sign somebody? Anthony Harris, Malcolm Jenkins, probably not, but still, we're going to have it all for you guys here on the Thomas Mott Show. So just subscribe. It's the holiday spirit. Your best gift to me is by hitting the sub button, hit the notification bell. I'd appreciate that. And if you like the show, as always, give it a thumbs up. Plenty more stuff happening as we have another Victory Monday. Enjoy it, right? Come on. It's been a fun year. And keep enjoying it. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.